Good evening, everyone. The open meeting law requires that I notify the public that this meeting is being recorded. Therefore, please be aware that an audio and visual recording of this meeting is being made and broadcast by Boston City TV, which is a part of the City of Boston Office of Cable Communications. Now I hand it over to Carl Richardson.
Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the July Disability Commission meeting to order, and we'll start with introduction. To my far right.
Hi, I'm Kristen McCosh, the Disability Commissioner and ADA Title II Coordinator for the City of Boston.
My name is Carl Richardson, and I am the acting chair and from Brighton, Massachusetts.
Ducia Lebowskaya, a commission member from Mission Hill.
Patricia Mendez, Architectural Access Specialist.
John Winsky, commission member, Fenway, Kenmore.
And do we have anybody on the phone? Okay, since we don't have a quorum right now, I'm going to table the approval of the June meeting minute to the August meeting. And we will start with our presentation. And just for the purposes of both the broadcast and the accessibility, make sure everybody speaks into the microphone. That's a big help to everybody.
Carl, can I just let you know a few more people came in, so I believe we do have a quorum.
I'm sorry.
A few more commission members came in, so we do have a quorum.
Okay, we can wait a minute and get settled.
We do have a quorum now.
Okay. Jerry, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
I am Jerry Boyd from West Roxbury, commission member.
Okay. Anybody else? All right. Well, we have a quorum now. So do I hear any motion to go ahead and approve the June meeting minutes?
So moved.
Any seconds?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. June minutes approved. Next, we're going to have some presentations. Just a friendly reminder, please speak into the microphone for the purposes of the broadcast and for those who may be hard of hearing. And try to keep each presentation to 10 to 15 minutes, and then we'll open it up for a few minutes to questions. First, we have from the Office of Housing Stability, Dominique Williams.
Carl, I don't see her in the room yet. Maybe
Okay.
we should
Next,
go to the next
do
one.
we have Joe Christo from Streetcaster?
We do. I'm joined by Reina Gandhi here as well. So, hi everyone. I'm Joe Christo. I'm from the City of Boston Mayor's Office of New Urban Mechanics. This is my colleague Reina Gandhi.
Hi, everyone.
We presented at the Disabilities Commission annual forum at Boston Public Library a few months ago. I really appreciate you having us there and now having us here as well. And we wanted to provide an update on the Streetcaster program and then discuss a activity that hopefully we may be able to have some attendees engage in at the end of the meeting if there's time. So I'm going to give a quick overview as a refresher about the program and then get into what the activity actually is. I also want to say a quick thank you to David Vieira as well, who has been really involved in helping give feedback on the program. We've met a couple of times, so thank you, David. Thank you. And thank you very much, Commissioner McCosh, for having us here, too. So Streetcaster is a program that the Mayor's Office of New Urban Mechanics is working on in partnership with Public Works Department and several other city agencies. And it's a new approach to how the city invests in infrastructure, putting equity at the front of that decision-making process, meaning getting help to the areas that need it most. And we're starting this with sidewalks. So the reason this is necessary is about 3 years ago, the Public Works Department did a sidewalk audit where they walked all 1,600 miles of Boston sidewalks and found something that may not be surprising, that the lowest quality condition sidewalks are oftentimes in the lowest income neighborhoods. So after doing that, we started comparing that assessment with 311 data and learning where the majority of 311 requests were coming from, because oftentimes they're the thing that's influencing where repairs are done. And we found that oftentimes the requests that are, the highest number of requests that are coming in are from areas that already have sidewalks in good conditions. And so those two facts, paired with the fact that the Public Works Department also has $11 million a year to fix sidewalks, but the backlog of repairs needed is much, much greater than that, led us to realize that we need to start really approaching this in a different way. And so the Public Works Department, DoIT, Boston Transportation, the Mayor's Office of New Urban Mechanics came together with this idea last year that was really has since evolved into the Streetcaster program. And I'll let Raina sort of talk through what that process has looked like since then.
Hi, everyone. So in October of last year, Bloomberg Foundations had come out, the Bloomberg Philanthropies had issued their call for the next set of Mayor's Challenge responses. And the City of Boston decided to put forth this project to improve equity in infrastructure planning, focused on sidewalks first, as the response. So in January, we were notified that we are a finalist, one of 35 cities that are awarded $100,000 to test this idea and test potential solutions to that. This August, so very soon, we will be submitting a more detailed application, and then in October, the final prize will be announced. And so the winner of the Mayor's Challenge will win $5 million toward this project, whatever project they had proposed, and then the next 4 cities will each earn another $1 million. Regardless of the outcome of Bloomberg Philanthropies, I mean, having another $1 to $5 million would be great, but the city is still invested in figuring out a better way of managing sidewalks to improve equity. So we have been testing our prototypes, as they call it, over in the spring and summer, and actually I have one here that I'd love people's opinion on toward the end of the meeting if there is time. I'll be in the back, so feel free to come by and we can talk through it. But our work has been very informed by a lot of the partners that we've been working with. Lots of people inside the city. The Disabilities Commission has been a huge help in helping us think about ways that we can better improve delivery, better improve the way that we engage on it. Also been working with DoIT quite extensively, the Transportation Department, Office of Neighborhood Services, Age Friendly Boston. Outside of the city, we've also been working with partners such as Supernormal, which is an innovative private planning agency, the Boston Area Research Initiative, a partnership between Northeastern and Harvard, the Harvard City Forum Lab, advocate groups such as Walk Boston, the Livable Streets Alliance, and also many groups that represent neighborhoods, so neighborhood organizations, as well as individual residents who we've spoken with. I think the number looks to be about 1,200 people who we've spoken with so far. Now, I'll hand it over to Joe to talk about testing and learning.
So Raina mentioned that we'd been really prototyping and learning about different aspects of this program as it's evolved throughout the spring and summer. And those have really broken down into 3 categories: how we plan infrastructure work, how we do infrastructure work, and then resident experience and communication. At the annual Disabilities Forum, we were there talking with many residents. We got a bunch of great survey responses about how we plan infrastructure work. Today, Raina is going to share information towards the end of the meeting on how we communicate about this work. But this how we do infrastructure work piece is one that we're really focusing on lately too, and that ranges from better coordination between Public Works Department and Boston Transportation around making sure that when there's sidewalk work being done, that, you know, other public realm improvements are happening at the same time, to testing out new materials on sidewalks that the city's never used before, which we did a sidewalk fair in the South End the other day. So it's been really exciting to really grow this program pretty organically with, as Raina mentioned, the help of many partners over the past few months. And we're excited to see how Bloomberg Philanthropies also views that information, because it would really benefit the city as a whole and all residents who really rely on sidewalks for connectivity. I did include also in the slides just a couple of pictures from events, including some at South Station over the past few months, North Station, the Disabilities Commission Forum, a couple at BCYF centers. So we've really been trying to get out and talk to as many residents as possible about this. Raina's just going to share what that activity is that we hope to share with you guys at the end.
So one of the things that we're looking at is the resident experience and communication piece. We have a couple of things that we're thinking about that we hope are better ways to communicate with residents, but we're really open to better understanding whether they work or not, and if they don't work, what a better approach would be. One is that on the website now, you can actually see and search through lists of sidewalk cases that are available. And we're looking for feedback around how, what people think about that, whether they like being able to see the many other requests that are there, and what they think about that. Others that I would love for your feedback on today are related to the Boss 3-in-1 mobile app. We have talked with our vendor quite a bit and are exploring potential ways to make it easier to use to a wider range of people. So I have a couple of mock-ups that I'd love anyone's feedback on at the end of this meeting. Thank you. Are there any questions?
Anybody?
What,
Go ahead, John.
what was the alternate material that you tried in the South End?
Sure. So we tried. Could I squeeze in there? Sorry. We tried 4 new materials. The first one was it's called Cold Patch. The city currently uses it for asphalt. We know nobody really likes asphalt, and so this is a concrete cold patch that is really allows for very quick repairs that hopefully settle well. And this is usually best used on minor cracks. The second one is a really exciting sort of composite material that is very environmentally sustainable. It includes elements of concrete, glass, and sand. It's very permeable for water, and it really creates a great finish that can be applied pretty quickly. That seemed to be one of the favorites at the fair. The third is more of a technique than a new material. As many of you know, there's a ton of tree heaves in the city. We have a lot of old trees that are pushing up sidewalks everywhere, and this is an approach to be able to cut those roots without damaging the tree and using the existing materials in the sidewalk to kind of shave it down and smooth it out. So it is actually, this company prioritizes making sure that's an ADA compliant grade for what definitely was not before. And then the fourth is really interesting. People at the fair either really loved this or really did not, and it was a rubber sidewalk. It's recycled tires, and it's a very thick quality material that will be put down almost as big concrete panels currently are. And it was really interesting hearing the feedback from residents on that.
Yeah, I know. I think those were tested about 6 years ago now?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's been a while. And I thought they held interesting promise, particularly for reducing broken glass as well. Because glass sort of bounces off it.
Agreed.
My question was about rubber sidewalks also, but a broader question: are you ensuring that all these new materials will be compatible for accessibility?
So we are just at the very early phases of even exploring and testing these materials. The Public Works Department hasn't decided to use any of them, and that consideration will be absolutely part of their decision-making process.
Any other questions from any of the commission members?
Sure. It's Jerry. So you mentioned at the very beginning of your talk, so how is it prioritized? What sidewalks get looked at, or what neighborhoods get looked at first, or whatnot? Or what if a constituent or a resident had a concern over a particular stretch of sidewalk? What would they do?
It's a great question. I should have gone into more detail on that. So what we have is a decision-making framework that looks at sidewalk condition, social vulnerability in the neighborhood, meaning income, percentage of residents that are elderly, a whole host of factors, and then really considers where the best areas are, not the best areas, where the areas that need new networks of full sidewalk replacement are. And so what we're trying to do is shift to an approach of creating these networks of sidewalks where there's better connectivity between, say, a very dense residential area and the subway stop, and a local business district in the park, and things like that. Now, that's the sort of equity-based master planning of sidewalk networks. Being incredibly responsive through 311 is absolutely core to this project, because we know that you can't have foresight on interim repairs that are needed. So this project is really pairing that forward-thinking planning with improved effectiveness and responsiveness to 311 requests.
So contact 311 if you really see a stretch of sidewalk that you think needs to be repaired.
Absolutely.
I just had one follow-up question. What does it mean that you can now see the open sidewalk cases? Is that complaints?
Yeah, you could always see those. It's just we're trying to increase really transparency into what the project's goals are, or not increase, because the program is brand new. We're trying to just be very transparent about what its goals and activities are, and one of those ways was by taking that 311 feed of sidewalk issues that already exists on the 311 website and just embedding it right on the program page, so people don't have to take that extra step to sort of connect the dots.
Sorry, two quick questions. To the commissioner, has there been any change in the no new brick policy, or is that still?
No, that's still in place.
When you look at materials, are you looking at the safety of those materials? I ask because I'm one of those who believes that bricks are inherently unsafe, or one of the most unsafe. But not only, I guess, I would ask about the safety, I would ask about the sustainability of the products, because we're wonderful at building new things. We're darn lousy at upkeep, and no one ever budgets for upkeep. So I'd ask about that.
It's a great question too. And so we, at the sidewalk fair, we had residents vote on which one of the materials was their favorite. But separate from that, we had our engineers from the Public Works Department not only look at cost, which is of course important, but also look at the sustainability in terms of duration, the environmental sustainability, especially in terms of water permeability, and then the safety of those products as well. On the safety front, the first one I mentioned, that concrete cold patch, we started to see that wear really quickly in a way that we didn't feel was very safe. And so we right away contacted the vendor, and they said, we think there was an issue with the application of it, and that was a learning opportunity to learn how to actually apply that better. But safety is absolutely a huge consideration, as is sustainability.
Thank you.
Are there any questions from the members of the public pertaining to this topic only?
There's one hand.
Yeah, David.
If so, please make your way up to the podium and speak in the microphone.
Yes, David Frier from Hyde Park. Simple question. The demonstration sidewalk areas that you showed off at the south end, are they still in place on the ground? Or have they been removed? Were they temporary?
Another really good question. Thank you. We actually left 3 of the 4 there. The rubber sidewalk was not installed. We put that over existing sidewalk because we were considering bringing it to ADA Day tomorrow to have on the plaza, which we are not sure if we'll be able to do. But of the 4 different sidewalk treatments, 3 of them are still there because we wanted to see how they wear over time. And we'd be happy to lead a tour down to them if anybody would like, host a tour for the Disabilities Commission there, if that would be helpful. What's the location? It is the corner of Columbus Avenue, West Canton Street, and Appleton Street. It's a little corner, small pocket park, a little triangle there. And it's 3 different
Yeah.
locations sort of within that park.
Yeah, I'd like to follow up about the possibility of organizing a group to go down there.
Yeah, I'd be happy to participate.
That would be great.
All right, if there's no other questions, thank you very much.
Thank you for having us, everyone.
Thank you.
They're here now? Okay. Would Ms. Dominic Williams from the Office of Housing Stability please make her way up?
Hello, everyone. I'm Dominique Williams. It's a tough act to follow. I don't have any fancy presentation, so I'm just gonna close. Oh, okay. All right. I'll leave it open then. Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you first for having me here and for allowing me to talk a little bit more about the really important work that we do over at the Office of Housing Stability. First and foremost, we're located over at 26 Court Street, so we're housed in D&D. So we're not too far away, just far enough away to get away from the craziness over here at City Hall, but I'm still very close. So the Office of Housing Stability first was established by Mayor Walsh in 2016 with a singular goal of making sure that Boston residents are able to stay and maintain safe and affordable housing. We accomplish this through three different ways. The first is through housing search. So we assist families who are in need of emergency housing and emergency shelter, but we also help families to find long-term housing solutions. And we do this through a couple different ways. First is the Metro List. So hopefully everyone here knows about the Metro List. It's a weekly e-newsletter that goes out. It shows affordable listings for rentals and for homeownership opportunities, both in Boston and just outside of the city as well. We've actually seen a 47% increase on that Metro List subscribers from the very beginning of January until today. We just ran those statistics. It was incredible to see it balloon from 10,000 to 15,000 listees. So we also have an evening clinic that we run twice a month, the second Thursday of the month, from 5 to 6. And that is our housing search clinic. The housing search clinic is run by one of our housing crisis coordinators, and they do a pretty thorough job of just showing people how to get signed up for different housing authorities that are across the city, and talking a little bit more about the resources that are available to them. And then the fourth Thursday of the month is on landlord-tenant rights, which is really helping people to understand exactly what city agencies, what offices they want to reach out to if they're having problems with their housing conditions, if they're facing some sort of discrimination, and then also providing more information about just what their rights are as residents in the city. Second, we talk a little bit about tenancy preservation efforts. We have 9 different vendors all across the city who are nonprofit partners who are integral to the work that we do. They help families and individuals to access City Flex funds, which can help for families who are facing rental arrears. We have a few programs that also will help to link to either tenancy preservation programs that are housed within the court if someone is facing eviction. And then we also have a partnership with HomeStart, which will link you to an attorney who's actually pretty good, who will help to stand up with you in court if you're facing an eviction and you're trying to figure out how to navigate the process, so that way you don't have to do it on your own. It's a very important program. Second, We also have a couple resources I figured I would bring today. We have a landlord and tenant orientation guide, one for renters and one for landlords. And both of these guides just talk about like what you should be looking for if you're looking for housing in the city, what you do when you lease an apartment and you lease up, and then also if you're facing eviction or what to do at the very end of your tenancy. So 2 separate guides. We've created one specifically for landlords and then one specifically for renters. Information is fairly similar, but a little bit meatier on one side. And then on the backs, it also has access to some of the different offices that we try to refer people to, including the Office of Housing Stability, the Boston Home Center, which is also in D&D. Not everybody is renting, so sometimes folks need some help as a one-stop shop for home buyers and homeowners. The home center is there as well. And then we also do a lot of referring over to inspectional services. A lot of people have housing conditions challenges that they're facing, and we want them to know where to reach out to folks. The next thing that we've created is this eviction guide. A lot of people call our office and don't necessarily know that eviction is a legal process. Someone can't just tell you you're being evicted. They have to take you to court first, which can help to complicate the process, especially if you're not informed of exactly what your rights are. So this talks a little bit about what to do before you go to court, how to access some of the different volunteer lawyer programs and lawyers for a day at the courthouse, and it literally gives you a step-by-step guide. So these resources I will leave over here on the table too. Finally, we also help to set housing policy for the city. So we suggest legislation that comes from our office. We use data to determine exactly what the trends are that we're seeing across the city of Boston. The people who are coming to our office, where are they coming from? What kinds of income do they have? What kinds of educational backgrounds do they have? Some of these are data that's important data that helps to inform policy, so that way we can help to address displacement in a really thorough manner. So one of the other things that we've just started last month was a community conversation out in Mattapan, which really helped to get us some really good feedback. It helped folks in the community to know that the city is here as a resource, and that we want to partner with them, hear their concerns, hear their needs, and be able to try to address them. So our office is pretty busy. We get about 100 touches a week, 100 new cases a week that we're starting, and we really just address all different kinds of issues in terms of housing. But it's a small team, but we really love the work that we do. It's a very passionate and very dedicated team. And so hopefully now that everyone knows about it, and we're able to get out into the community a little bit more, people will continue to come on and trickle on in, and we get them the help they need. And now I will take questions.
Does any of the commission members have any questions?
I have a question, Carl.
Sure.
It's Jerry again. How you mentioned the e-newsletter or the newsletter that comes out? How does one access that?
Sure, that's a really good question, Jerry. The Metro List is actually online, and I think at the very back of this guide it will tell you a little bit about how to access Metro List, but it's really just through boston.gov. If you punch in Metro List into the search, it's like boston.gov/Metro List, and there's a little subscribe button. So it will ask you for your name, and then it will ask you for your email address. You click the subscribe me button, and it'll get you signed up. That e-newsletter goes out once a week, closer to the end of the week. I think it goes out on Thursdays.
Great.
I can just say that I get a subscription to the Metro List, and it is very informative. It has a lot of listings every week for openings for housing.
Yeah,
It's a great service.
I'm glad to hear that. We love that kind of feedback.
I get it too.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad to hear it. You guys must be some of the 15,000 members we've got now.
Any other questions?
Yeah, here's Ducia. First of all, thank you for your presentation. This is the first time that I'm hearing about this.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm glad.
Yeah, I'm a late bloomer to that. Yeah, so I think, thank you also for informing us about how we can access the website.
Yes.
That's definitely informative. I think what I'm wondering is, there's some families or even single, do you also help single adults as well? And there are different situations, like some people, if it's for them the first time, and they and out of the nowhere they have to, like, I know you said that it's a legal process, but some people, like, what do they do if even a single adult, like they, for instance, they were working for 10, 20 years and then they're now starting to receive disability. For instance, what do they do, like, if they are late with their rent for whatever reason? Is there something specific for them?
Well, I think, thank you for your question. You asked a couple different questions. So first, we want people to know that in order for a person, and we do help both individuals and families, and in order for a person to be evicted, you have to go, your landlord has to take you to court first. They actually have to serve you with a notice to quit and provide you with an opportunity to answer to that summons, answer to that complaint, ask for discovery or get to ask them some questions. A lot of times we're seeing people who are being evicted for rent that they don't necessarily owe. So it's always a great idea to, ask for calculations to maintain your rental receipts. So that way, if you ever have a challenge, you have your own information right there. But I think that was one of the questions that you asked. So that's one of the reasons why we have, those guidelines in place and advice in place through the eviction guide for people so that they know exactly what steps they can take. And then in terms of if an individual is first, working and then starts to receive disability, for the most part, I'm not sure if you're asking for, affordable housing opportunity or if it's something that's just like a market rent. Either one, we have the ability to be able to help people with their arrears if they fall behind in their rent. I'm not sure if you're asking about it like a recertification question, if a person has a...
Yeah, I apologize. I probably am not able to articulate the question because I'm not even sure how exactly to ask this, because I'm just, it's the first time I hear about your organization, so yeah. I'm just asking, like, giving scenarios just to get an idea of what
might
do.
happen. Yeah, so we do have people who come into our office all the time and who have recertification challenges and may have some difficulty communicating with their property owner or their landlord. We can help them to walk through that process. It sounds like if a person is making, one amount and then they start to make, they take a pay cut or they're ultimately making a lot lower, pulling in a lot less on a monthly income basis, then we would want to make sure that they're able to maintain the apartment that they're in too. So it's not like we just kind of give away money. We also want to make sure that the person is able to afford the apartment on their own as well. In addition to, maybe helping them if they fall a month or so behind, but it's not necessarily a resource for people who just can't afford the place that they're staying at all.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions from the commission before I ask the public? Any questions from the public regarding the Office of Housing Stability Housing?
We have one.
Can you go up to the microphone?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. So my name is Olga Lopez. I am the Latino Outreach Coordinator for the Federation for Children with Special Needs. And I work with the Latino community, but this is a concern for not just for the Latino community, for English speaker families, how those families, they have access to this information, or if they have access to this information in their own language.
Yeah, okay. That's a great question. So we have two of our housing crisis coordinators speak Spanish, and then also the resources that we provide. The landlord and tenant guide are both available in Spanish as well as Cape Verde and Creole. And when we did our community conversation and I think our eviction guide is also available in Vietnamese as well as Spanish and Haitian Creole. So we're definitely trying to make sure that our capabilities are diverse for people who are coming into the office who don't necessarily speak English. So we do our absolute best. Sometimes we get languages that are not as common which can be a little bit of a challenge, but at the very least, the resources that we have, we definitely make sure that we translate them. We did our community conversation in Mattapan last month. We sent out 3,000 flyers. We did a census track on the area in Mattapan to figure out who's the most at risk, what language do they speak besides English. It turned out to be Haitian Creole. So when we went out to the community, we made sure that we had both a Spanish interpreter as well as a Haitian Creole interpreter. And then our presentation information was in all three languages, English, Haitian Creole, and Spanish as well.
Can I just make one final comment? The city is doing a lot of work on housing, and this is just one particular office. We also have the Office of Fair Housing Equity. We have the BHA, Boston Housing Authority. And one initiative that I started in my office is the Disability Housing Task Force, which looks at housing specifically for persons with disabilities who are not elderly, because sometimes elderly and disabled people get lumped into the same category.
Definitely.
But categorically, we're not always eligible for the same things that seniors are. So one thing that we're working on right now is also a guide, like Dominique mentioned. In this guide, we'll give you a list of all the city agencies that deal with housing and what those agencies do. Because I'm assuming you probably get requests for BHA.
All the time.
And things like that. And one office can't do everything. And it is very complicated which office does what. But am I correct in stating that your office does individual case management?
Yes, we do.
Okay, because I know a lot of other offices do not do that. But this would be the place to go for people who are at risk of housing and need to speak to somebody one-on-one to look at their individual circumstances.
That's correct. That was a perfect way to sum it up.
Great.
We definitely get a lot of requests for fair housing, for BHA, and for ISD. So, but thank you for having me, and I will leave these resources in the back as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Williams.
Dominique.
Next, we have with the Federation of Children with Special Needs, Ms. Olga Lopez.
Put my wallet in here. So let me put- So, okay, let me see. First of all, I want to thank you, the Commissioner McCosk, to having me here, to have the Federation presenting today. So, my name is Olga Lopez. I am the Latino Outreach Coordinator for the Federation for Children with Special Needs here in Boston. And the reason why I'm here is, first of all, I want to let you know who is the Federation, how we work with the community, and second one, we want to advertise an event or a leadership program that we are pushing so hard this year for the Latino community. So just to let you know who is the Federation, in 1974, a group of families, they gathered together, all those families have a child with disabilities, and they gathered around a kitchen to discuss how they're gonna get more assistance or help for their own kids. All those kids have disabilities. Starting from that point, those families start to get together and decide to create the Federation for Children for Special Needs. And they grow up nationally, and they turn into a 501c3 organization that annually we serve 45,000 Massachusetts families and their children with special needs. So this is the population that we are serving right now. So the Federation born with a group of families, with the families who have kids with disabilities. So the Federation for Children with Special Needs provide information, support, and assistance to parents of children with disabilities, the professional partners, and the communities. We are committed to listen to and learn from families and encourage them to full participation in community life by all people, especially those with disability. So our guiding principle, the Federation promotes the active and informed participation of parents or children with disabilities in shaping, implementing, and evaluating public policies that affect them. The Federation believes in the power of parents helping parents and infuse a program model, the peer support through this work. So the Federation, we have different programs. We have the Special Education Center, we have the Health Advocacy Center, we have the Family Support Center, we have the Parent Professional Leadership Center, and we have the Family Engagement, Community and Engagement Center. These are our programs. I am part of the Parent Training Information Center, and part of my job at the Federation of our Parent Training Information Center, we have 5 different outreach coordinators, and our work is travel around Massachusetts and outreach the community, the families with kids with disabilities. We have a Vietnamese, Portuguese, Chinese, and Spanish outreach coordinator, and we work very close with Hafi for working with the Asian and Creole community, and we are working very close with an Arabic parent support group here in Boston. So our mission is working with the community. Right now, the Latino community, based on DESI last report or data report, we have 17,600 Latino families who are receiving special education services in Massachusetts. And we have around 6,000 families here just in Boston, Massachusetts. And our big goal is to outreach the communities, to provide the information and educate the families. So we work very close with different state organizations. We work with DPH, we work with DDA, DCF. We collaborate all together in order to provide the services and the help that the families need. So let's see how the Federation works. When families call us to our call center, we take the call. If the family doesn't speak English, they speak different language, they refer the call to one of us, one of the outreach coordinators. And after that, we start to guide the families one-to-one to provide the services. When the families get struggling with the school system and they don't know how to navigate the system, we provide family with a consultant. So, and we take care of those families and we guide them and we teach them how to advocate for the kids. But our major goal is educate families. If families are very well educated and if they know how to navigate the system, it will be more easy for families to get the services that they need for their kids. So because the Latino population is the biggest population right now in Massachusetts, for the first time, the Federation for Children with Special Needs is offering the Latino Parent Leadership Program. It will be a program that the first time is advertising here in Massachusetts. The Federation had the PCTI, Parent Training Information Institute, but it's for English speaker families. This is just for the Latino families and professionals who are Spanish speakers who works with the Latino community. And the good about this program is all the presenters, they are highly qualified Spanish speaker professionals who are very involved in the Latino community. And the reason why we create this program is because it's a big population. And at the Federation, I am the only person who works with the Latino community in Massachusetts. And I need to reach out to those cultural brokers, those persons who will be continue the work, and I will feed them with the information and they can continue working very close with the communities. So I think so for families who are in Greater Boston, it's more easy to access all the information and services. But our big concern is those families who are far away from Boston, who have major difficulty accessing the services. So that's the reason we are pushing so hard to this parent leadership program here in Boston, invite people from different areas, Greater Boston, just to start to educate themselves. So we are covering very important topics in our Latino Parent Leadership Program. We are talking about the basic rights and special education, IP measure goals, effective communication, transition plan and assessment, IDEA and mass special education, immigrant parents with kids with disability rights. So I think so this is a very key topic right now, especially we have a lot of immigrant families who kids born here and have disabilities, and those families, they don't know what are their rights. And we want to educate the families, how can they get the services. And we want to build that, we want to continue with that relationship with the families, because based on my work with very close with the community, in order for families trust my work at the Federation, I need to build a relationship with them. And the only way you can build a relationship with the families is when you work very close with the grassroots organization. And this is what I am doing, especially in East Boston, Chelsea, Lawrence, and Boston. So here in Boston, we have been working very close with Children's Hospital, Mass General Hospital, just to support those family support groups. We have effective communication, we have discipline and suspension, neuropsychological and academic evaluation, families and culture, problem resolution service, and trauma and learning, especially right now when families are facing a lot of trauma for separation because the families are getting separated from the kids. So the Latino Parent Leadership Program has the cost. It's $200 for families and $200 for professionals. But if the family is working with DDS, they can use the MDDC scholarship, and MDDC, they will cover the scholarship for the families. So it's very difficult for families to navigate the application, so just to access the internet, fill out the application, and fill out the federation application. I will be happy to help them to fill out the application, because we are talking about the barriers the family facing. Access to technology as one of the challenges that some Latino families or some families are facing right now. So I will support them, we will support them, we will help them to access the information. So this is our big push right now, working so hard with a lot of base root organizations here in Boston, just to support the family and support the Latino Parent Leadership Program in Boston. I don't know if you have any question.
I just had
Any questions?
one quick question. It sounds like your organization mainly deals with education. Is that the case?
We are dealing with education and outreach part. So we teach families how to advocate for the kids. It is our major goal. But we are working so hard to invite families to engage and to participate very actively in the communities, because it's very important the families get involved in the school life of the kids.
I had a question, Carl. Go ahead. Just a simple question. Where are you located? How does somebody get in
We
touch
are
with
located at the Scrap Center, and I forget all my address. It's after Bunker Hill College, Sullivan Square. People take the Orange Line, get out in Sullivan Square. It's 529 Main Street in Boston. So we are very accessible for everyone. So we have free parking, and people can take the Orange Line, get out in Sullivan Square. It's a shuttle to bring the families to the Federation. The parking is free. So
Okay.
For the old-time Bostonians, it's where the Schraff candy used to be made.
exactly.
The Schrapp Center, okay.
It's
Yeah,
the Trust
Schrapp
Center.
Center, yeah.
So I'm going to leave some flyers on top of the table. They are in English and Spanish. I would truly appreciate you can pass that information to your communities and to your families, because right now it's very important the families and the leaders get well educated in everything related to special ed.
Any other questions? How about the public? Any questions from the members of the public?
I don't see any.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Lopez.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Likewise.
Next is the chair's report. I don't have a lot to say other than the budget, the state budget finally came out of conference last week, and there were some good things in it. One, Mass Commission for the Blind asked for a $1.55 million increase in their community services account. They actually got a $2.4 million increase.
Wow.
900,000, which is earmarked for things like radio reading services, but the 1.55 million will go to make up for the shortfall in the shortfall in funding and vocation rehabilitation services. Housing vouchers were funded, and so right now the budget's on the governor's desk, and he has till the 28th to pass the budget or do what he wishes with it, and then it'll go back to the legislature if there are any vetoes or, that need to be overridden.
Carl, is there any update on the AAB bill?
Well, I was just going to mention that. I believe, and John can correct me if I'm wrong, because it was in the DPC newsletter today, it still needs to come out of House Ways and Means. Is that correct, John?
That's correct. Basically, it looks like AIM and NIAP have been fighting behind the scenes. So it's stuck in Ways and Means. No update, but the long and the short is it doesn't look great. We've only got 10 days.
Right. You only have
Say
about a
it-
week.
You said it doesn't look great?
Yeah,
It doesn't look great?
no.
I would concur based on what I'm hearing with John, that that's not one of their focuses right now. And we only have a week left before the formal session ends, because this is an election year. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't try to call the legislature and focus on the House. And Representative Sanchez is the chair of Ways and Means if you want to get in touch with that office. And he is a legislator for here in Boston, so it wouldn't hurt for you to get in touch with Representative Jeffrey Sanchez's office at the State House if you want to try to get the architectural access bill passed. John, I, and Commissioner Heidi Reed, John to my far left, I and Commissioner Heidi Reed will be speaking on a panel on the anniversary of the ADA this coming Thursday on July 26th at the Disability Rights Fund office at 89 South Street at 9:30 a.m. So please come if anybody wants to come and hear John and Heidi and myself, and along with several other people who have a point of view on the ADA. That's about all I have. Next is Commissioner McCosh's report.
Thank you, Carl. I don't have a lot on my report tonight. I just have one very important update, which is that we have received permission to move our meeting location to the City Council chamber starting in August, which will give us more space at the table so we can accommodate 13 board members. So our plan right now is to have all 13 board members sworn in, recommendations made to Mayor Walsh, have Mayor Walsh select the candidates and have them sworn in before the August meeting. So then we'll be able to proceed with elections and actually get Carl off the hook. He's done a great job as our interim chairperson, but we'd like to really stick with the bylaws, which calls for elections annually. And we worked really hard to get the approval for 13 board members. So that's what we are excited about now. So our August meeting will be held on the 5th floor instead of the 9th floor. City Council chamber, it's all newly accessible. And luckily for us, there just happen to be 13 desks. So every board member will get their own desk. And I think it will be a great change. It will be a great time for some new members to come in with new thoughts, new ideas, new perspectives, representing different disabilities and other neighborhoods. So we're really, really excited about this change. One other thing to note is that the council chamber facility is only available on Wednesday evenings, so we have to switch the meetings to Wednesdays. We really had no choice in the matter, because Wednesdays are the only days that the council does not, Wednesday evenings are the only evenings that the council chamber does not use the facility. So the dates that I have for the next meetings will be Wednesday, August 22nd, Wednesday, September 19th, Wednesday, October 24th, and then we usually combine November and December, so that will be Wednesday, December 12th. So 4 more meetings till the end of the year.
Is it a particular Wednesday every month, like second, third?
It's pretty much the 4th Wednesday.
Okay.
There will be a few variations, like September 19th, I think, is the 3rd Wednesday, but the other ones will be the 4th. And shooting, we're going to shoot for the 4th Wednesday going into the new year.
Great.
So
this is the agenda is incorrect. The next meeting's August 22nd.
it's August 22nd, yes, correct. And we just got this permission, so it's hot off the presses, but I will obviously send an email out to the board members. And we really hope that more members of the public will start attending the meetings. We know we have some regular members who attend frequently, but the council chamber is such a really great accessible space. And with the new board members, we think that it's a great opportunity, because we'd love to have the advisory board really choose what they want to pursue, write letters about, tell us who you want to hear from. We have lots of great things that we know you can accomplish. So we're excited to work with you and support your work. And then just a reminder to everybody that tomorrow is ADA Day. We will be recognizing the Mass Rehab Commission for their longstanding partnership with the City of Boston. We've been doing an internship program with them for the past 7 years, where we bring in 10 Boston residents with disabilities who are job ready, and they do summer internships for 6 weeks in different city departments, at the end of which they apply for jobs. And we've had several people hired by the city over the last few years in this program. We also partner with Mass Rehab Commission on Disability Mentoring Day every October. So we're recognizing Mass Rehab, and our theme this year to celebrate is employment of persons with disabilities. So come out tomorrow for some free food and music and t-shirts. Mayor Walsh will be speaking about 1:45, and it's a great day. It looks like the rain will hold off. So really excited to welcome everybody to ADA Day.
Sounds like terrific news.
Yes, good news, yes.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have the Architectural Access Report from Patricia Mendez.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Patricia Mendez. I'm the Architectural Access Specialist for the Commission for Persons with Disabilities. I'll start talking briefly about the Access Advisory Committee to the MBTA. We had the last meeting for the ACT, as it's called now. They have been meeting for the last 40 years. So there's going to be now a transition with a different commission, and they will continue to do the work with the MBTA. We brought a declaration for the last meeting declaring that final meeting day, June 27, as ACT Day in honor of the commission. On the committee, sorry. Next, we've been working with the event planners, very busy season, using our new checklist, and we continue to communicate regarding accessibility for the events for all our visitors and residents, so everybody can be able to enjoy the festivities. Coming up is the Green Fest, and we also were in close communication with the pizza event that was successful, and our own event, ADA, it's coming up this week, and after that, the Puerto Rican event is coming in. We continue to serve at the Architectural Access Board. We have 2 meetings as usual this month. Next, we also continue to work with Commission on Disability Alliance, which is the group of municipalities that we get together on a phone call to talk about accessibility issues. This month, we discussed the bills that are going up to the Massachusetts legislature, and we, as Carl mentioned, we discussed a Architectural Access Board meeting, and what we can do to continue to contact our legislators to ask them to vote favorably. That's it for me. I would answer questions.
Any questions from Ms. Mendez? Okay, moving on. Thank you, Patricia. Good job.
Thank you, Carl.
Moving on, new business items? Any new business items?
Well, there was old business too.
Oh, old business too, right. I was pretending I could read the agenda. Any old business item first?
I don't believe so.
We did have that one outstanding letter.
Oh, yes, we have not finished that yet, but we will do after ADA Day.
Okay, so maybe
Okay.
for the August meeting, we
Yes.
can have that letter done, and then all 13 members could sign on, and it would.
Absolutely.
Any new business items? Is there anything the commission would like to bring up for us to work on? Okay, hearing none. Any public input?
David has a question.
If so, please make your way up to the podium so you can be heard in the microphone. Thank you.
Good afternoon again, David Vieira from Hyde Park. I'm back on the subject of the access ramp at the Boston Public Library. 4 months ago, I believe, we were told that the library was probably going to have the ramp installed in the next couple of months, and that's come and gone. Have we had any further contact with the library on this issue?
Hi, David. It's Krista McCosh.
Hi.
Yes, I believe the last update I had, which I gave at a meeting, was that it would be installed this summer. So that is still on track.
It's summer.
This
so
summer, yes.
This summer, so summer ends September 20-something.
Yes, so we do have another few months.
Okay.
Couple months.
Just update me on this. Has this commission actually taken a formal vote on this subject?
I can't remember.
I think we did at one time. We wrote a letter, right?
No, I think we held off because we had word that it was going to be done. It's certainly taken longer than I thought, David. I don't know. I mean, would a letter help at this point, or do we know why there's been delays, Commissioner?
Okay, I'm going to defer comment on this until the September meeting, and the September meeting should occur after summer has officially expired. And if summer expires and the ramp is still not up there, I'm going to formally ask the 13-member commission to take another vote to approach the library on this subject. Thank you.
Thank you, David, and I will commit to following up with the library and finding if there has been any change in the plan.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, David, for keeping that on our mind.
Yes, keeping our feet to the fire.
Are there any other input? Do I hear any motions to adjourn?
I move.
So moved.
Any second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? See you in August.
On the 5th floor.
All right.
Thank you.